Hello everyone and welcome back. This is actually Yihua from the future taking a quick little detour in our currently scheduled course outline to mention how you can update your packages. So because I'm in the future, the version of React that I'm seeing that just got released is different from the version that we are using throughout this course right now. Right now, the latest version is 16.10.2 as of the time of the recording of this video. In the course, though, the version of React that we're using is 16.8.6. It's a very minor version change, but there are a couple new things that came out in that React version. But even then, I think it's important to understand how we can update our packages, as well as see some other issues that might come up that are very easy to resolve. I'm going to show you in this lesson how you can do so with both Yarn or NPM as your main package manager, but we're going to start with Yarn first. So the first thing to do is check what version of whatever packages that you want to upgrade are that you are currently running. The easiest way to do so is simply using inside of your terminal yarn list. So if you type in yarn list and then the name of the packages, so for me, I'm checking out React, React DOM, and React scripts, I will see that React DOM and React are at 16.8.6 and React scripts is 3.0.0. I know that React DOM and React can be upgraded to 16.10.2, which is the latest version, and React scripts to 3.2.0. Now, instead of directly modifying the value here, there's another thing that we can do to make sure that whenever we either want to upgrade, we can always use the latest version. Now, the way to do that is simply to go to our package.json inside of our project. So inside of our package.json, you'll see that I have inside of these two dependencies for React and React DOM, 16.8.6 and 16.8.6 and 3.0.0. So if you have used Create React App to create your application, as you've been following on this course, you may see that there's this little caret symbol in front of your version. All that means is that this is a rule that tells whatever package manager we're using, whether it be Yarn or NPM, whenever it sees NPM upgrade or Yarn upgrade, to update to the latest stable non-breaking version. So if you see this caret, then you see that whenever you installed your package, even if it's 16.8.6, it will try and get the latest version. In my case, though, because I did not have it, whenever I run yarn install or npm install, it will find just the exact version, which is 16.8.6. So I'm just going to add this caret in to all these locations, here, here, and here. And what this will now do is whenever I run yarn upgrade, it will try and upgrade with these new rules. The issue that you will encounter if you change your package.json and then try to simply run yarn upgrade is that you will see that you have an outdated lock file. Please run yarn install and try again. This is perfectly fine. All this means is that yarn upgrading is not going to work here because we updated the rules in our package.json when we added that caret. Instead, we have to run yarn install instead. Now, while this is installing, this is actually a good time to take a look at this lock file that gets mentioned, because I'm sure some of you may or may not have noticed that there is a yarn.lock or a package.lock inside of your application folder. So what is this lock file? All this lock file is, it is an auto-generated file by either npm or yarn that locks the version of all the packages inside of our application within a specific range based on the rules that we set inside of package.json. So the rules being simply what we saw here as our version number. If I use this caret, it's saying that I want it to be at least 16.8.6 or greater, but not breaking. What that means is that when we had it before without this caret, the yarn lock file was generated saying that the version of React and React DOM and React scripts are locked to exactly that version. Now that we've added this caret, it gives more flexibility, which means the yarn lock file is out of date and needs to be updated. And this lock file only updates whenever you run yarn install. So why do we need a lock file? The lock file is simply there so that if multiple people are working on this application, they are all using versions of these dependencies that don't conflict with each other, because maybe somebody is running React 17, someone is running React 16, and there's a difference in features that might be breaking in the application. The yarn lock file just ensures that everybody is using a consistent version of these dependencies. But with that, after we ran yarn install, we generated a new lock file, and from now on, you can simply run yarn upgrade whenever you want to upgrade these dependencies. And we can just double check to make sure the version of these packages that we got are updated. So if I run yarn list, React, React DOM, and React scripts, I'll see that they're now at 16.10.2 for React DOM and React, as well as 3.2.0 for React scripts. So with this, I have now updated my packages to the latest version. Now let's see how we do this in NPM. So here I have a separate repository that is a complete clone of our last repository. The only difference is that in this one, I'm using NPM as my package manager instead of yarn. All I have to do in order to update these packages is run npm update. The main difference here is that npm update will force the versions to update to their latest versions. However, it's still good to be explicit in our rules and package JSON so that we know what kind of versioning we want to do. So first, let's just check what versions we have actually installed for React, React DOM, and React scripts. Instead of yarn list, we use npm list, and then we type out the actual package names the same way. Whoops, I had a typo there. So here with this, it's just like yarn before. We see that our versions are 16.8.6 for React and React DOM, and 3.0.0 for React scripts. So in order to update this, we can go into our package.json, and we can add the tilde in front of React, React DOM, and React scripts, just to be explicit. And then we simply run npm update. One thing I want to note is that even if you don't add the tilde, it will update the version numbers, and it will overwrite your package.json file to show the latest version. So npm update and npm install are both a little different because npm install sometimes will skip over certain versions if it doesn't see that it's a major update. The safest way to make sure that you actually do update all your versions, if you want to, is run npm update. It takes a little longer, so let's just fast forward through this section. So here we'll see already that it's told us that it's updated React DOM to 16.10.2, React scripts to 3.2.0, and React to 16.10.2. Now, you'll also see down here that it says found 0 vulnerabilities. So what are vulnerabilities? You might see this number change sometimes, whether you see it as a warning in your GitHub, or maybe when you do something with your NPM, it'll show you that there's certain vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities are essentially these minor security concerns. Sometimes they're major, most of the time they're minor. That has to do with either a dependency that you have installed or a dependency that your packages depend upon that you yourself don't know that you also installed. So for example, React probably has something like 60 other packages that it depends upon, and one of those might have a security concern. The easiest way to actually fix this inside of NPM is to run npm audit fix. And this command will go through and update the versions to a version of a package where it doesn't have the security concern anymore. Unfortunately, with Yarn, this is not so easy. While Yarn does have access to a Yarn audit, all it will do is it will audit all of the packages as well as those packages, dependency packages, to see if there's any vulnerabilities in any of them. If it does, it will list them to you and show you at what severity. But for you to actually update it, there's no such easy command as npm audit fix in Yarn. What you'll have to do is manually install and upgrade all of those packages that you see with a vulnerability if you do use Yarn as your main package manager. So that's just one thing to highlight as the main difference between NPM and Yarn, as well as how the commands work. So hopefully with this, you now know how to update your packages, whether you're using Yarn or NPM, as well as fix security vulnerabilities. And with that, good luck, and I will see everyone in the next lesson.